civil rights violations for numerous raids that have been conducted by the Sheriff's Department in a militaristic sort of fashion, using strong-arm tactics and excessive force against patients and patients who are growing cannabis for other patients in this county. There are a number of counties in Northern California that have passed bans, and those bans effectively, and I said this at a Sutter County Board of Supervisors meeting, will lead to more crime and more issues, not to less crime. They'll lead to cartel activities in the counties and harm to its citizens. So today this lawsuit, which is filed on behalf of a number of patients and a number of folks who've been raided and attacked by Shasta County, seeks damages for retaliation by the government. Mr. Benno, who is one of the primary plaintiffs in the case, has been retaliated against and his First Amendment rights have been violated, as well as it seeks damages for Fourth Amendment violations and a series of other property violations that have occurred. The county has an obligation to its citizens, and in several of the materials I've read, I think the majority of the county is in favor of medical marijuana laws. While there may be some restrictions on those and bans, according to the state Supreme Court, it doesn't mean that we can run rampantly over the rights of citizens that have been using their property legally for years and not give them a vested right period of time, an amortization period, or compensation for their property loss. So with that, I'm going to have Joe Grumbine, the CEO of the Human Solution, talk for a moment about the history. He has been here for 3 years working with citizens and looking to get changes made. And these changes need to be made across California because numbers of counties are acting in this manner towards medical cannabis patients. So, Joe?
Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. And as you might know, the Human Solution International is a civil rights organization. And one of the things that we specifically focus on right now is the way that the cannabis laws have affected citizens of America and all around the world. People have lost their freedom, their property, and in many cases their lives as a result of cannabis prohibition. And we believe that no one should go to jail for a plant, no one should lose their job, no one should have their property seized. This is reprehensible, it's immoral, and it violates our basic civil laws, our basic civil liberties. What's happened is we're an all-volunteer organization. We're not a funded organization with a whole bunch of resources, but we do have a lot of attorneys that have stepped up and participated in cases. Unfortunately, our workload is usually many-fold over what our ability to help is. We do a lot of grassroots organizing. We bring people together to witness these cases, to raise up the defendants, to give our collective understanding of how to beat these cases. In this case particular, in Shasta County right now, we have close to 50 plaintiffs that have been violated in a similar way that James was, where their property's been seized, they've been raided, in many cases charged with felony crimes, incarcerated, put on bond, basically hobbled, put in a place where you can't defend yourself well. Typically when that happens, they come in with their strong-arm tactics. People shrink in fear. They don't want that to happen to them. So they get quiet, they go away. But what we found is that there are some civil actions that we can take and that we can move forward, and we can file lawsuits and we can file injunctions, and we as citizens can be proactive and not have to be reactive in the way that unfortunately James in so many of these other cases has had to be. And so what we're doing right now, one of the reasons that we're here is to announce that we're beginning a self-help legal clinic that has already got national support from attorneys in 3 states, paralegals, legal experts. We're coming together to create a self-help template-driven resource for patients, growers, people that have been victims of the drug war and don't know what to do. It's also going to be a resource that attorneys can share their successes with other attorneys. successful motions and writs, all sorts of things that, you know, we live in this compartmentalized world, and a good attorney only has the value of his experience. Well, less than 3% of cases ever go to trial. Less than 3%. And there's thousands and thousands of raids and thousands of cases. Most of them get settled in plea deals, and most of them end up with the victims becoming felons and serving probation and ultimately having problems with their lives. This gives us an advantage. If more people stood up and took their case to trial because they had a chance, and because the community might stand around them, and because their attorney might have some resources that we could learn from all the other trial experiences, we could topple this thing over. And we know that. The court system's already overrun. A typical trial lasts 2 to 3 years now. And if there was double, triple, 10 times the amount, they wouldn't continue to pursue these cases. And we know that. And so what we're doing is going to empower the people. There's going to be templates that people can come onto our website, consult with experts. They'll be able to do the legwork. And we have in the works probably right now close to 50 complaints going to be filed in Shasta County right now. That's going to be as a result of this. And the numbers, once people realize that this happens, there's been hundreds and hundreds of raids in Shasta County where code enforcement assisted with law enforcement has come in and seized people's property, broken into places without warrants, violated civil rights repeatedly. And usually it goes unchecked because people don't know what they can do. They get threatened. They get told that if you do this, we're going to file on you. If you do anything, we will do these things. And people, unfortunately, don't know any better. They don't know any different. And when a guy's staring at you with an assault rifle pointed at your head, telling you something, you tend to remember what they say. Okay? So we're here to be a counterpoint to that and make people realize that if you fill this form out in a particular way, and you file it in a particular way, and you file a fee waiver so you don't have to pay those fees, and we do it in a correct procedural way, you, in fact, might be able to get your property returned, or who knows, maybe even receive a settlement for your damages, which in many cases are horrendous. They destroy lives up here, and they're attempting to do that. It's a control issue. This is about money, this is about power, and it's about control. It has nothing to do with health and human safety as it's supposed to. So with that, I defer. I think that's what we got going on right now, and we're really grateful that everybody's being part of it.
And we'll take some questions now if you have any questions. Does anybody have any questions for us?
Well, you're filing 50 suits in U.S. Federal District Court today?
We're filing one lawsuit today in Federal District Court in the Eastern District.
Okay.
What Joe is talking about is a series of documents that can be accessed on the internet.
I love that idea, by the way. That's great. Whoever came up with that,
well, we've been working on it for several years.
Been working in a while.
That sounds wonderful.
Coming to life now, yeah.
What will enable people to do is file pro se and take them all the way through the lawsuit. There are so many actions that have taken place, illegal actions by government, not just in Shasta County, but all around.
California League of Cities really did it. They're behind it all.
They really have, and they are behind it all. That's correct. Yes.
How long do you have to actually initiate this process? I mean, there's a certain amount of time that it's too late, right?
It's a 2-year statute of limitations for these constitutional claims.
2 years.
So, and that's from the date of discovery of the claim that you have. With the federal lawsuit, there's no requirement that you file a claim with the state or the county government ahead of filing the lawsuit.
And how much monetary value does this have to have? Like, how much money are we talking about? Like, are we talking about property seizure? We're talking about
the door they
material
kicked
things
in,
like cars.
stuff they stole.
It's a constitutional thing. So they violate your constitutional rights.
It can be over a broken pen.
It can be over a broken, that's right, over a broken pen. So
what about taking your medicine from you?
That would be part of the constitutional violation. If there is something that was done improperly when they took the medicine from you, then you would sue them in federal district court for violation of your constitutional rights.
Interesting.
Yes.
How can people who are hearing this on television do something to support and to help? How can we make a difference?
Well, I think the most important thing is we have the Human Solutions International, the organization that has been supporting patients and folks who've been harmed by bad government activity, people who are incarcerated. One gentleman who's incarcerated for life solely because of marijuana violation. We're talking about a plant here. We're talking about something that is effective for many, many people in terms of their medical needs. And even beyond that, again, it's a plant that doesn't harm anybody. And so this behavior, which drives from a war on drugs concept promulgated throughout this country by the federal government over the last 40 years, is just inappropriate. We need to change that. That's what we need to change. And ultimately, this work will help do that. So supporting THSI, and I believe the website is thsi.org.
thsintl.org.
thsintl.org.
And can anybody go on there and become a member? Do you have to be a medical marijuana patient?
No,
Or can
anybody can
everyone?
participate anyway. You can volunteer. You can become a chapter coordinator, a court support team. You can do anything you want to help, and it's all accessible through the website.
And people need to get involved. You need to be involved, and it needs to be supported, because that's the way we can make change happen.
The key to the success is what you see right here. The people that come together. This isn't like we have this army that we send to you. This is we rise up. This is grassroots organizing. This is the people of the community stand by each other. And remember, this isn't about any one of us. This is about civil rights violations. The concept of being violated is a tyrannical concept. We're in a free society. That's what we have to beat this. This is all about that.
They wouldn't do this against any other type of business entity. They don't do this. Is, for all intents and purposes, this is a municipal code violation, is what it is. And the
ticketable offense.
It's a ticketable offense. It would be like not having a permit for a sign on a building.
Right.
And
Having
instead
a car
of
without a plate on it.
and that's exactly right. Instead of doing what they normally do, because it's evil marijuana, they come in with their guns drawn, which they're not supposed to do for a nonviolent misdemeanor under Ninth Circuit rules. They come in their SWAT gear, they attack with people they don't like Mr. Benno, that they're retaliating against because he's been a vocal advocate for patients for years. They take his dirt. So they go as far as to take all of his dirt as well. And that just shows the intent that they have. The intent is to destroy, to summarily punish without due process.
Actually love this dirt.
If you don't bring
Lying about it,
actions to seek relief, to seek recompense for this bad behavior, government continues to do it. That's why we have these court systems.
So as we help in this case, we are actually helping in a much broader spectrum for all other.
I think that's correct. I'll give an example. We had a raid in Santa Ana, California last year that we have to put some hidden video cameras in of, and we caught officers at that raid eating things that appeared to be marijuana edibles, as well as making derogatory remarks about a medical cannabis patient in a wheelchair, playing darts, vandalizing things. Several of those officers have now been charged with crimes by the district attorney in Orange County. But when that story went public, and as we filed cases against the city, you saw a number of cities which had been engaged in similar type of conduct, that conduct reduced itself down in Southern California and in other places. You have to make these things known. People need to be aware of it by taking action to seek recompense, to seek relief for violations of the Constitution. That's what happens. So, yeah. Any other questions?